what a weekend it was. Let's stick in the West and start with Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers because the Claws weekend, it started in San Antonio, his old stomping grounds. He dropped a casual 36 against his former team. He was looking spry. A couple of fourth-quarter dunks there. L.A. beat Coach Pop and the Spurs 131-126. And then their little Texas two-step. It continued against Luka and the Mavs yesterday. Kawhi had a game-high 30 points, giving him his most points in a two-game span since returning from injury. And don't look now, but the Clips, they've won consecutive games for the first time since December 27th. So, bringing in our resident big man, Big Perk. Perk, at one point this year, you have this ever-fluid, changing list, and you thought that potentially the Clippers, they could be contenders to go to the finals. But since then, we've started a little new segment here on NBA Today where you give us a word. So today, what is your word to describe Kawhi Leonard?
Well, it's not nothing, out of the ordinary. I ain't going into my French vocabulary or even Spanish vocabulary. I'm keeping it simple. It's Monday, I'm keeping it simple.
All right.
And it's the word gas. And I'm not talking about the one that come out your butt. I'm talking about gas. When something is solid but also deadly. That is Kawhi Leonard, right? We don't hear from him. We don't hear a lot. He don't speak a lot. We don't hear a lot from him as far as his interviews and things of that nature. But when he comes to play, he delivers in great fashion. And right now, I'm watching a Kawhi Leonard that is playing desperate, that he knows he has to take over the game. He's not waiting on nobody else. He's not waiting on Paul George, Reggie Jackson, Nicholas Batum, or Big Zubac. He's saying, give me the ball and let me turn back the hands of time and let me show the world that I'm healthy. Kawhi Leonard has been sensational over the last couple of games.
I'm not going to lie to you, Perk. I've only ever heard one thing be described as silent but deadly, but whatever you say, my friend, I'm just going to leave that there. And speaking of your interesting word, Perk, the Suns, they started off yesterday against Memphis, all gas, no breaks.
Oh,
that was against
Don't
the
bring that over here.
You see what I did there? Wafting. Chris Paul was back in action after missing 7 games with a hip injury. He dropped 22 points, 11 dimes against the Grizzlies. That gives the Suns their 3rd straight win, the longest winning streak in over a month for them. So, still no Devin Booker today, but assuming that they get right, they get healthy here, could we be talking about them as true contenders in the West?
Let's be real here. Anybody's a contender in the West at this point, but I do think the recipe for success is getting their starting lineup healthy. Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Cam Johnson, Bridges, and DeAndre Ayton. When they're out there, they are amazing. Plus 43 in just 67 minutes. This year, that lineup has only played 67 minutes. And so if they're healthy, they absolutely can be 1-2, what we've been seeing the last few years. But the real X factor here, Malika, is Devin Booker. I mean, this guy is always knocking on the door of being a real, conversationalist in MVP.
Right.
He's always like 2 or 3 people away from like top 5. 27 points per game. When he's out there, no matter who else is out there, they can win regular season games. But to be able to be a real contender, they will need their starting 5.
Plus, it feels like the middle of the West is still very much up for debate.
Shoot,
but Denver, the bottom of the West, but Denver and Memphis, they're starting to create some separation.
They are.
Even with that loss. Thank
Correct.
you, my friend. All right. Another team in the thick of that murky part of the West, though, it's the Minnesota Timberwolves. They are tied with the Suns, a record of 500. So, joining my friend Richard Jefferson here because they took on the Rockets over the weekend. Anthony Edwards. Ooh, buddy, I'm sorry, Chene. Let's take a look at this highlight real quick. This was all about Edwards. Richard?
This is what I'm going to say. Edwards was so impressive. It's very, very rare do you get 2 bodies at once. He dunking on everybody. And look, I'll go to Ja. When Ja said, look, apparently he didn't get the memo the first time, right? Look at this dunk, because this is what we have. Look, take a break. And look, I respect the big man, but you got to make better business decisions like this. And let me give you some examples. See, everybody wants to see the dunk. Everybody wants to see the love. I'll show you what I like to love.
Well, Richard, first take a listen to this.
The first one now that I think about it, Nate told me it actually was pretty impressive due to the fact that I took off pretty far and it was with 2 hands. And he just was deep the whole night. So I told Kenyon Martin Jr. Coming out of halftime, I said, I'm going to dunk on him again because he's so far down the floor. And it ended up happening again, But, all praise to, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but number 28, Sengun. He good, man. He good.
an impressive game for Anthony Edwards. Minnesota gets the win 113-104. So, Richard, I don't necessarily have a question for you, but as someone who was a former dunker, what did you see?
Current, I can still dunk a little bit.
You want to prove that?
I proved it in my little Gucci slides. We had that with us for another time. This is what I wanted to see. I don't know how we play this thing. Okay, so this is weird thing. We got this thing up already. This is what, when I dunk a ball or when I see a dunk, I don't like to look at I like to look at the crowd. I look at the other team's bench. If you can make them snap, then you're doing something. You're giving them a memory. Now we're gonna push play. I think that might be the button. All right. We already seen the dunk. We seen the dunk. We know it. Now we're gonna go some slow motion here because I want you guys to see the second dunk. Here we go. Keep going. That girl's face right there. I tried to pause it. This girl's face. How do I rewind this thing? There we go. Let's scooch this back a little bit. Is this thing going to work? This thing, let's get it back. We're going to get it back. Oh, we're going to play it again. And we're going to do it. This girl's face right there. I know you didn't see it, and I'm not going to push this bump. I tried to do it, but her face looked like she had just seen a ghost. But that's not even the best one. My favorite one is when you get the other team. That's the highlight, and that highlight's coming last. I'm not going to snitch, but I want you guys to take a look at my guy Usman right there. I want you guys to keep a look, because as a dunker, when you can make the other bench be like, ooh, I'm not doing that next time. Now take a look, take a look. This is what we're gonna do. Ooh, he started jumping back, and then you catch yourself. You're like, wait a second, he wasn't on our team. I want to look at that one more time, because that's my favorite thing when we start talking about dunking on bodies. My fault. I'm back on the same team. So those are the things that I look at when I see somebody doing dunks and highlight plays. I look at crowd reaction, and then I look at the other team. We know his boys are going to be hyped. We know that. But we want to see what the other team is going to do. And I'm snitching. I'm telling everybody, if one of your teammates get dunked on and you make a reaction, you're going to find yourself up on this big screen, and I'm going to figure out how to work this to really call y'all out.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.